Booyakasha. It is I in the house. Ali G is back, and we'll be talking about it. It's gonna be wicked. And, of course, we have to talk about Spider-Man. You know, there's some more footage that's made it out onto the internet as part of official promos that hints at maybe we will get J. Jonah Jameson, or maybe we won't. Somebody asked the man himself behind the character, and we will talk about what he had to say, whether J. Jonah will indeed be in the movie or not. Of course, we have to talk about the future of the DCU. What is James Gunn gonna do now? What did Peter Safran, well, what do these guys have to do to right the ship after the flop that was, of course, Supergirl? Unfortunate as it is, they have to move forward, and you know, what does that look like? What we talked about yesterday, what we would like to do if we were in their positions, you know, unenviable positions, but we'll go through a few ideas. Of course, I'm sure you guys have ideas. You know, we got a bunch of quickets today, including a trailer that, quite frankly, makes me believe that, you know, this new Avatar Aang movie should have been in theaters, but you know, it's not going to be. In fact, it's coming out sooner than we all expected, so we'll get into that. And the big news of the day is, of course, the orgasmic reactions to the Odyssey, calling it, of course, Sir President Christopher Nolan's magnum opus and beyond. So we'll get into that and so much more. But as always, let's get started with the news intro, and we'll get things going from there.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. Number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. It's a Tuesday. It's a doubleheader Tuesday, as always. We got Tier List Tuesday coming up later after DCU Daily. Of course, you'll be seeing us rank Supergirl, all the live action Supergirl iterations, which is the topic that you guys voted for. So whether you want to talk about it or not, that's what you guys wanted. So we'll be ranking all the Supergirls. There's 5 of them, if you guys were wondering. So we'll get into that later, but of course, before that, we got a bunch of DC stuff. We got some Marvel updates, of course, as always, and of course, like I mentioned before, the Odyssey. And you know what? There was something interesting I found out. Apparently, you know, the newly upgraded California tax credits, they just released the list of movies that are going to be filming in California as a result of that. So that's interesting. You know, we'll talk about that for a little bit. Of course, we'll talk about Ali G in the house. John is with me, of course, as always. John, what are you excited to talk about? How was your day today?
I had not a ton of productive things happening today, but you know, that's all right. Sometimes the days are like that. But you know, I'm excited to talk about Avatar, the good Avatar, not the blue people Avatar. And then you know, I'm excited to talk about all sorts of things, maybe some more optimistic DCU related things, instead of hashing out about how, like, oh, it's going to be the worst thing ever and how it's a failure and blah, blah, blah. So hopefully we can talk more about that than what we have.
No, it will. I mean, well, that's, yeah, I feel like we've kind of done enough of that whole, you know, bashing Supergirl. I mean, look, you know, it's some of it deserves, some of it perhaps not. But, you know, we'll talk about what comes next, including lanterns. We'll get into that as well. There's some new lanterns artwork going around, you know. So much more green, John. I saw so much more green in that. So we'll get into that, I'm sure. But, hey, as we usually do, we'll kick the show off with some box office news. So let's get into the box office report, of course. The big movie this week is going to be Disney's live-action Moana, with The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
For all the boring normies, for the legends, it's Evil Dead Burn. Let's just get that perfectly clear. For all the you know, based people out there, it's Evil Dead Burn. But for all the
I don't know what you're
bitches and
talking about.
normies. It's Moana.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, I see. Well, hello to Caleb, Honka Honka, Booyakasha, thank you. Ali G today, not Borat. We'll get to that later. Monique is here. Howdy, y'all. Terrific Tuesday to you. Scrambled eggs with cheddar cheese. Scrambled egg with cheddar cheese at night. Okay. Fried sausage pieces, cantaloupe slices, and Texas Roadhouse
I actually have some
mini rolls
cantaloupes in
for
my
dinner.
fridge. I might actually
Dude,
get some.
I want to be honest with you. The Texas Roadhouse mini rolls are like the best mini rolls in the game. Like it's.
I've
like,
actually never
that
been
shit
to a
is
Texas
underrated.
Roadhouse, so I wouldn't
You're
know.
missing out on life. You like just go there just for the rolls. I mean, the steak is good, obviously, all those other things, but like the rolls. I didn't know you can get that shit at home. Did you order out, Monique? Because I'm like, I would. Love
I
to
think
get
you
me
can
some
get
of
them like
those.
in the frozen section, or like
Is
you can
that?
get them like as
Ooh.
a. Because I know for the Red Lobster like cheddar biscuits, you can get like a bag of like the not dough.
Oh, they're better
but
than
like
the King Hawaiian rolls.
the powder.
Yeah,
So
yeah, like
you know.
yeah. I'm like, if I can bake some at home, like, damn, I would totally would, because that they've got the recipe that I like.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
that's what I thought. I
freezer
thought because
section.
I
Okay.
think I've seen them in the freezer.
I'll have to
section.
look. I'll have to look. Yeah,
You're just gonna.
I
We're
was
just
thinking about it
gonna
the
see
other day.
Dan with like 700 It's like 11 getting like the 20 boxes of Eggos and Stranger Things. You're just gonna see Dan just walking down the aisle with like 20 boxes of fucking frozen mini rolls.
They're gonna probably tell me it's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, you can only buy 4 at a time. I'm like, fuck you,
and
guys.
you'll be like,
and
you
then
know
just
what?
walk
How
back
about you
into the
fucking suck
mustache.
this dong? I'm getting my
Just-
20 boxes. I'm gonna buy a new freezer just to put my Texas Roadhouse mini rolls in there.
Exactly. Hello, just some geeky guy, $5 super chat. I got tickets to the Evil Dead Burn instead because I don't care to know whether the hierarchy of power in the Ocean Kingdom will change. Very well said. On that note, John, as far as Moana is concerned, it is still going to be the biggest movie of the weekend. I think Evil Dead Burn probably comes out of it looking the better film. Obviously, we haven't seen the reviews for both just yet, but, we'll talk about the Odyssey reviews later. But anyway, talking about Moana, the box office. Yeah, after the first reactions came out, after I think there was a premiere this week, and John, you highlighted the paragraph in the article.
Hey,
hello, Brogu.
Brogu is here,
Red Lobster
guys.
biscuits are good too. Red Lobster biscuits are the other ones.
I've never been to Red Lobster either.
You can actually get those too for yourself. I don't know if they come frozen or if
they don't come frozen. They come in like a bag of like kind of like the pre-made like powder or whatever the fuck, the batter, and then you can add stuff to it.
Yeah.
However, there's a better way to do it than on the instructions to make it taste more like the restaurant biscuits. I think Jordan,
I'll need to look that up.
The Stallion fucking did a thing of it, and I was like, ooh, okay.
I'll have to. I think I do remember what you're talking about, but I'll have to get into that. Well, somebody sent us a YouTube link to a tutorial or something. Yeah, you can get a mix. That's okay, cool. Anyway, talking about Moana. The first reaction came out after tonight's premiere, and of course, it looks like, with the reviews coming out tomorrow. Here's the thing: this Moana movie has been dropping like a rock over the last few
like
weeks
a lead
box
balloon.
office predictions. Hey, D. Cole. So, well, I prefer my pun, The Rock, because anyway. Anyway, so what I was trying to get at is the global box office, which we talked about. They're a good, source for box office numbers and predictions. They were saying, look, initially, this movie was looking at maybe $100 million debut months ago. Then that number last time we talked about it was down to 85 million. And now it looks like the number has dropped further. It might be looking at a 45 to 60 million opening instead. Now with a $200 million budget, and then however much they're going to spend on marketing or have spent on marketing, it's on track to become, according to global box office, one of Disney's biggest bombs, because I don't know how it makes that money back, John. This thing is more expensive than Supergirl, and I'm sure it's going to make more money than Supergirl. It's going to do better in opening weekend alone, but I don't know how much it's going to do beyond the first weekend. It's like, does it even have legs? It's dropping like a wet fart, dropping like a rock. Use whatever analogy you need. I mean, this is like a 1-for-1 adaptation of the animated movie. I think, to me, this points out to the clear problem of people want to see obviously these live action remakes because we have seen plenty of them do well enough. There have been several billion-dollar movies coming out of it, especially like the first Lion King. Obviously, Mufasa didn't quite get there, but it's still popular. But the difference between those movies and this live action remake, John, for Moana, if you go to the next article, is that, well, they already have a Moana animated franchise that's currently ongoing. They're not remaking a movie that was made in the 90s. They're not remaking a movie that was even made like in the early 2000s, or even like the first Moana came out like 10 years ago at most, and they just released a sequel a couple of years ago. Like, and so with the sequel coming out a couple of years ago, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson literally just a few days ago mentioning that the writers are going to be back for doing a third movie.
Yeah, it's going to be back for a third one.
So so basically the Moana animated franchise is ongoing. It's in the present day. So it doesn't, to me, makes a lot of sense to rush this out the door now, other than because The Rock wanted to be in it. And I mean, I don't know, maybe they're like, will The Rock still be able to be the live action? It's whatever. I'm saying maybe that's the reason, but I feel like this movie dropping like a rock at the box office in terms of its projections. Granted, you see how the global opening is still going to be 130 million plus, which basically means it's going to split that down the middle with what it does, 65 million at the highest domestically and another 65 internationally. That's respectable, but I don't know, for like a $200 million movie, I feel like this, like who was asking for it today? They could have done this 10 years from now and it would felt more, in line with what they've done with the other Disney classics. It just, to me, that's the reason why I feel like it's just overload. Like, why do you think this movie keeps dropping it with its projections at the box office?
I think it's just like, I don't know, like maybe it's because maybe it's because just the movies I see, but I feel like I try to see like an entire blanket of stuff, and like I've seen maybe the Moana trailer 2-3 times. I haven't seen any like ads for it like on like YouTube. I haven't seen anything major for this movie. But now I don't really watch TV, so I don't know much about TV spots.
Yeah, I think they're mostly focusing on the younger audience, and like, so
No,
unless
I get
you're not
that,
in
but
the Disney ecosystem, like,
I don't know.
you're not gonna
It
get as
just
much
feel
exposure.
like I just feel like they aren't marketing this enough as they should, I think. Or maybe they know it's bad and they're like, let's not. Kind of like, I guess, kind of what happened with Supergirl, but it just feels like people are losing faith in it. Maybe like, they're just not as, I don't know. It can mean a lot of things, because like Snow White did terribly, and then fucking Lilo and Stitch did amazingly fucking well. And so I don't know, like every time I make a prediction about these fucking live action remakes, it's always wrong. Because then I'm like, oh, Snow White, due to that, they're fucking, canceling the Tangled thing. And then when Lilo and Stitch was a huge success, they're like, Tangled's getting remade again. And it's just like, it just feels like kind of weird that it's just like constant back and forth of like, and I guess with Moana, they're kind of hoping that it'll be the Lilo and Stitch effect, where it's like people know of it. It's more in the pop culture zeitgeist than something like Snow White, which was, made fucking almost 90 years ago at this point. So, it feels like, it just feels weird. And it also doesn't help that the movie looks really fucking cheap. I don't like, I like
for like $200 million,
for
$200
million.
Like,
this is like looks like fucking an embezzlement.
I'm sure The Rock
scheme or
had a good
something like
salary out of it.
So as here he is in his fucking dollar store fucking women's wig that he found in like a dusty
the
corner.
Bodysuit looks weird. The wig
the
looks
bodysuit's
like
terrible.
off.
Like because I remember watching this for the first time. Like, is that like a what is that, like CGI? Is that a bodysuit? But yeah, it's clearly a bodysuit, because The Rock lost a shit ton of weight for other movies, so he had to put on like this muscle suit with like all these tattoos on it. So it just looks there are fan films that look better than this shit. And I also I don't find like the girl they got for Moana just feels so awkward in the role. Like, I don't blame that totally on her. Maybe she's just inexperienced. Maybe the director was bad. I don't know. It's just like she feels so awkward. And it's just like, there are just some things that should not be in live action. And I mean, I saw a fucking picture of the, of the pig. I forget his name, but like the pet pig she has.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're trying to be cartoony, but then trying to be realistic, and it like doesn't work. Like, because the thing is, they tried the overly realistic stuff with Lion King. That was clearly terrible.
It looks like a National Geographic documentary.
And then the overly cartoony stuff with the Pinocchio remake, and that failed too. Yeah, remember the fucking Pinocchio remake that nobody remembers because it got clowned
I think
hard
everybody
by Guillermo del
remembers
Toro's way better
Del Toro.
version. So, and then nobody talks about the Pauly Shore version. Nobody talks about that one. But yeah, so like they're trying to go for this weird middle ground, and it just looks so fake. And I just think people are maybe. I'm not saying I'm not saying the live action movies are gonna. Oh, they're gonna stop making them. It's finally done. No, I mean I think it'll make a good amount of money. I don't think it'll be a huge box office success like Lilo and Stitch. But I think people are specifically seeing through this one because they see that it's cheap. They see, like, The Rock is not the box office draw he is anymore. And I think it's just like people are kind of, not wiser for the live action movies, but like, I think they're getting wise about this one where it's like, I think they kind of realize that they're like, people don't want to see this. We'll just shit it out because of The Rock's ego, and boom, there we go. So, I just think that, yeah, I would hope not.
Can you smell what The Rock is wearing?
But yeah, it just,
yeah.
I think
Hey,
people are
Steven.
finally getting some kind of clue, at least with this one movie. Not it, period, because I will say, like, I'm probably not gonna watch it, but like, I will say the Tangled remake doesn't look half bad. Like, it actually looks pretty good.
Well,
like,
it's early days, but yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit.
I mean,
from
I
the
like
set.
Tegan Croft. I mean, the Titan show was
yeah.
ass garbage, but she was good in that show. I don't know the guy, but like, it just, I don't know. It looks like it's gonna be more fun than all these other cheapo ones are, but we'll see. But
you may have spoken a little too soon. Well, we'll see. That's the best I can say with that. I mean, look, Evil Dead Burn probably, like I was saying, is gonna get a lot of the better word of mouth out of the weekend, but it's also like they're going for two very different audiences. One of them is going for a 4-quadrant family audience. The other one is more, for a horror crowd. So it's counter programming, which is good. You like to see that. But yeah, I mean, hey, look, 130 million. Like Supergirl would have loved to have started.
Moana Dead Burn.
It's nothing to sneeze
Evil
at.
Dead Moana, Evil Moana Burn. I don't know. They're trying to do like an Barbenheimer with that.
Yeah. I just think to me, I think the biggest reason why it feels like something off about this is like they just made a second Moana 2 years ago. They're probably gonna get a third one in 2 years. Like the main franchise is still ongoing. It feels like there's no need for a live not yet. Like wait another 10-20 years. And so what if The Rock can't be in it himself? Like you just I'd rather have a more exaggerated CGI, character. Anyways, it's just
it should have been
rather than just in a bodysuit. So, anyway, hey, right, dude, how you doing, man?
You know who live action Maui should have fucking been? Cooper Andrews. He would have been an awesome Maui, but he actually looks. He was best. The only one that comes to mind he was the foster dad in Shazam and Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Oh yes, yeah. No, you know what? Yes, he would have been a better fit. He would have been a better fit. Definitely 100%. Agree with you there. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? There is one more movie we want to highlight. I think we mentioned it briefly yesterday, but Backrooms over the weekend crossed a pretty big milestone, John. $350 million globally. It also has set multiple A24 records in other countries. It stands as the top film for the studio in China, France, and Taiwan being, amongst those. That's a pretty big deal. Like, how's your reaction to this? Because again, the movie just keeps chugging, and Backrooms and Obsession still are two of the biggest movies of the year, and it doesn't look like they're going to be getting dethroned off that top 10 list anytime soon.
Yeah, I think this is great. It's showing that people will go to the movies for certain things, just not, you know, just not garbage. And like it's just like the people want to see good movies. That's all they want. They don't want to
Yeah.
see force-fed messages. They don't want to see um they don't want to see, you know, annoying stuff. And Backrooms also, you know, having that IP. I don't know how far you can really use the term IP for this one because it's, you know, an internet thing. But
so you can loosely, it's very loosely.
it's known. It's the people are not like for instance, when I went to go see Backrooms, everything must go edition that had the extra post credit scene. I was in a theater with like, you know, it was mostly adults, but like in my row, it was like a family of like 4 or 5, and there were like 2 or 3 kids. Like one was like a teenager, one was like a 12-year-old, and I think one was like maybe like 10. And the thing is, what was the funniest fucking part about it all was like there were like 4, I think 4 from what I counted, red band trailers. Like, you know, the
before the movie.
If you don't know, red band trailer is like a trailer that is like for specifically R-rated NC-17 audiences. So, and it was like so funny because one of them is Evil Dead Burn, which is very abhorrently violent and very gory. So just seeing that was just really funny. Another one was Super Troopers 3, where like the trailer ends with a bunch of dudes getting a boner, and it was like, what? And then like and then Onslaught, the Audrey Arjona movie that directed by Adam Wingard, that like kind of Terminator-esque kind of movie. And then another one was the Olivia Wilde movie I Want Your Sex with
I've seen that trailer
with Cooper Hoffman.
Yes.
And it's just like the most inappropriate shit
it's
a
so
child
bad.
could say. Like you have the sex stuff, you have the sex comedy stuff, you have abhorrent violence and just gorehound crap, just like every facet of like the stuff a kid should not see.
Dude, it's it takes me back to when I took my very much underage brother back in the day. He's older now, but like back in the day, to see Deadpool, the original Deadpool.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning this.
There were so many times. I mean, you know, from the pegging to the many other inappropriate, for kids, like in moments in that movie, I was like, oh god, like. I mean, he wasn't gonna tell on me or anything like that, but I was just like I probably shouldn't have brought my younger brother to this movie. Like, this is like obviously that the first one that movie came out like 10 years ago now. But hey, Olivia, we need to learn more about the DC Cinematic Universe, Batman, Wonder Woman movie soon. Yeah, and we'll talk about that later. We will. Brogu's saying, I know I'm older now, but I swear that movies back in the day seem more entertaining than some of these movies today. Did people stop using their imaginations or something?
No,
I mean, in some respects,
it's just the movie industry got more corporate, is all. Like it started in the 80s, and it just kind of slowly got worse.
Hollywood.
And now I think in the 2010s it really started to get really bad. Like 80s, 90s, it was like the 80s was like pretty much the start of like the producer fueled movie. And not saying like, oh, the 80s, 90s sucked or anything like that. But if you go back, like 70s was the last time, was like the big auteur age of movies where like, yeah, sure, you maybe had some corporate politics and studio politics in there. But that was like when filmmakers could be filmmakers and like directors could do their thing.
I mean, and then also like most studios
and that was like
were
the death
run
of the
by
Hollywood
people who
system
weren't
at
financiers.
The time, so
yeah, exactly. I think the biggest difference for me has been that Wall Street has sort of gotten a hold of Hollywood in the last couple of decades, which has really meant like now you're trying to maximize profits and therefore you're taking less risk because movie making is fundamentally risky. Like you may make a movie that makes a ton of money, but you may also make a movie that completely flops. And it's not a definitive thing where, you know, any form of our commercial art or mainstream art, whether it's movies, TV, you know, even, you know, other forms of art beyond that, stage plays and such. There's no one formula that's always going to deliver. You know, two movies could be made with pretty much the same ideas, and then one of them could be a
That is
huge hit, the other one not.
definitely Heaven's Gate was a
So
big factor. You're not wrong. Heaven's Gate was a very big
yeah,
factor. That was like it was like a lot of money and a lot of a lot of things went into that movie. A lot of production problems, and then it came out, and then it
mm,
was like it was this gigantic, huge risk, and then it flopped. And then in the '80s, there was that takeover of like producer metal project. Now again, like are the '80s and '90s have great fucking movies? Absolutely. But there was a lot more meddling, like there was a lot more trends. Like, the '80s was like, slasher movies was like,
hmm
oh, we got to get on the trend. So like everybody and their brother made a fucking slasher movie. Then, in the '90s, you had there was a lot of alien stuff post Independence Day, and like a lot of like out over the top sci-fi. Then in the 2000s, there was zombies and torture porn were kind of the big things because of 28
hmm
Days Later and Saw, as well as like over the top action movies and that kind of thing. And then 2010s is when it really started to come ahead of like we gotta like
Well, I
take
think
even more risk. And I
like I
think that was
was,
because I
yeah.
think it was honestly the MCU was probably a big factor into like the more corporatization of
No,
cinema
but John, I
because
think like it's
there's
not.
that
I
as
think it
well.
goes beyond that. Corporatization, I think, is the wrong way of talking about it, because it is movies have been studios have been corporations for decades. What it is back in the 80s and even into the 90s, studios were mostly run by folks who grew up in the film business, who were who worked their way up in the studio system, or were film producers that eventually got the job of running a studio kind of thing, or started off directing and stuff. They came from that side. Now a lot of studios, a lot of the senior executives are finance folks. They're coming from Wall Street, they're coming from like those kind of environments. And because these companies have become these big conglomerates, like I was saying, it's about maximizing your profits, minimizing risk, and usually that means you play it safe more often than you don't, or you're not in line with what the audiences are looking for. And usually Hollywood now takes a long time to kind of change direction because of that. Obviously they still chase trends, and I think the studio executives that know what they're doing, and that that come from that film background, like Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi, those are great examples. You got of course James Gunn, Peter Safran. Nobody's perfect, but I think on the whole, Kevin Feige, obviously a great example. But yeah, I think that's really what it is. And it's just we're still in an era now, I think, where there's a lot of change happening again, because there's more smaller studios out there. Whether you like it or not, Angel Studios is a good thing that they exist, because they create competition, and they're filling a hole in the in the market. And then you also have A24, you have Neon, you have Mubi. Like, these are players that just weren't there before, like 10 or so years ago, because when Focus Features is part of Universal and Searchlight is part of Disney, like Sony has their own art house labels. They're all part of these bigger studios. Having these other independent, like Bleecker Street, like having them around on their own, I think helps. But yeah, like you say, John, I think the big also is part of that corporatization, I guess, in a way, with more Wall Street getting a hold of Hollywood, especially now. The power of the producer slowly started to diminish. So like back in the day, like for example, with superhero movies, you see it all the time. Like was it Bill Finger? Not Bill Finger. Who's the guy? Michael Uslan has like the rights to the Batman movies, right? And he exercises an outright, he like not an out not not a, maybe that's not the right word, but he still exercises quite a bit of influence on Batman movies. He certainly gets money from all the Batman movies. Like obviously Richard Donner back in the 70s and stuff, you used to sell movie rights to producers, not studios. Now like things have changed over time. So now like companies control IP rather than producers, and so I think producers having less power in some ways is a good thing, because there's less gatekeeping. But at the same time, companies having that IP instead creates other
Right.
kinds of gatekeeping. So I mean, it's a big topic, but I mean, obviously that's how we get a Moana live action remake 10 years after we got the original, while you're still working on the third animated movie, and the last one came out 2 years ago. Is it going to make money? Sure, he's gonna make some money. Is he gonna make enough to be profitable? That question is yet to be answered. So we'll leave that there for now. But Backrooms, of course, is doing really well, and hopefully there'll be more Backrooms and less Moana live action remakes to come. John,
Yes.
let's talk about the MCU stuff though. Did you read a few of these articles? I saw that there's a new promo out there. There's also I saw there's a new TV ad spot. There's a new social media promo that they put out, and there's some footage in there. Now I believe I think you guys have seen this probably in several of the trailers. And so I don't know, John, if you remember, there's a wedding that Peter Parker crashes into while he's testing out his organic webbing. And apparently, according to this article, the trailers have shown us Spidey accidentally crashing a wedding while testing out his new organic webbing, and a promo revealing a closer look at the bride and groom's helicopter reveals that they are called John and Lucy. Fans are now eager to learn more about the Marvel Studios plan for the web slinger. Their theories are already swirling about who John and Lucy are. John in the comics, like J. Jonah Jameson's son is John Jameson. Do you think that's where this is headed? Is that what this is about?
I mean, that would be a funny thing of like John, and then J. Jonah Jameson is there. It's like, God damn it, Spider-Man! And then he gets out of there, something like that. I think that would be funny. But this article also mentions John and Lucy Riker, who was the founder of the Gamma Corps, and wanted to capture the Hulk in order to treat his wife's
General
cancer.
Riker, right?
So that could definitely be something. That's probably more likely. It probably doesn't mean much. It's just kind of like an Easter egg for fans that could become something if they are going to do something with the Hulk.
Right.
Unlikely because they can't because Disney's greedy. But it's whoever it is, I think it's cool. I never really thought about it. I'm just like, oh, it's just a random scene of Spider-Man crashing a wedding. Isn't that funny? But if it means something for later down the line, I guess cool. But I mean, it's just a funny Easter egg, I guess.
It is.
The fact
and
that
you know
people
what?
are going really ham on this is kind of weird, but sure.
But part of the hamming involved being like, oh my god, this is how J. Jonah Jameson is going to end up in the movie, right? So, and he of course was in the previous trilogy of films playing like this, InfoWars style kind of a host, instead of being the publisher,
which is
of the
such an
Daily
insult
Bugle,
to J. Jonah Jameson.
the DailyBugle.net.
Not actually like that.
No, I know, but I mean, I think that's the genius of it because he really hams it up in the role. It's such a different, but yet feels like a more timely reinterpretation of the character. Again, I have no problems with having a more traditional version of the character, but that's what we have in the MCU. So, John, J. Jonah Jameson was asked recently. So if you move on to the next thing, hello, Noel. We'll get to the SDCC predictions in a minute. Good question. But of course, J. Jonah Jameson himself, J.K. Simmons, was asked about hey, are you going to be in the movie? We got this footage in the trailers. Does that mean you're going to be in the film? And he did an interview recently with comicbook.com, and he was asked the same question. He said, not in it, dude. I don't know who on the internet decided that was a fact, but I ain't in it. So, John, it looks like J. Jonah Jameson is not going to pop up in this latest Spider-Man movie after being part of the last two, I believe. So,
yeah, which is kind of dumb because Matt Gargan is in this movie, and J. Jonah Jameson is the reason why the Scorpion became a thing. So the fact that you don't have him in there is a little weird, but sure. But,
I mean, maybe the story doesn't require him to be there. I don't know. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt for now because, I'm not somebody who's oh God, we need to see J. Jonah Jameson. It's not as much as he was central to that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he hasn't really played that same role for I mean, until the last one. I think it was where oh wow, he's actually, they kind of weaved him into the core of the story. But because it's not like he's the guy giving Peter Parker a job, unless they were going to go in that direction. Doesn't seem like they are. So I'm okay with this. And maybe he'll come back because, I mean, they're probably going to do another 2 of these at least in a new trilogy. So just because he's not in this one doesn't mean he won't be in the next. It doesn't look like J. Jonah Jameson is in Spider-Man Brand New Day. As of right now, if you at least go off of what the man himself...
I mean, Andrew Garfield also said he wasn't in No Way Home, and look how that turned out.
True. True. At this point, can you believe anybody really? But you know what you can believe is the composer of the movie, Michael Giacchino. John, yesterday we talked about there was over the weekend so a clip going around with a little bit of a sneak peek on the soundtrack. But today, the man himself, Michael Giacchino, actually, if you scroll down, he posted on his YouTube account a video with the soundtrack. And just this one bit he called it "Sweet New Day." So it looks like it's just a preview. It's a small chunk of what's going to be part of Spider-Man's theme. I listened to it, and
I just saw that's
so
funny. That's funny.
What does it say? Has been
It's a
seen
Spider-Man has
a
been
lot
seen a lot in Europe.
Could he be British? That's actually hilarious.
I
That
see what
that's-
you did
that's
there,
a great Easter
guys.
egg.
That's
a great Easter
funny.
egg. Because he was in Civil War, so he was in, was it Austria, wherever they were in that
Yeah.
airport battle? Then of course he pops up in, well,
Far
where
From
did he?
Home.
Yeah, in Venice,
Far From Home.
was it? Far From
Yeah.
Home. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Venice, where he was a night monkey.
Yeah. Did you listen to this? Because I listened to the new
I didn't get a
well,
chance
this
to. No.
bit of the soundtrack. To me, it sounds like a weird mixture of like Michael Giacchino's, iconic style of orchestral music, kind of with some tones of the Spider-Man theme from the previous Tom Holland movies. It didn't really stick out as anything particularly notable. Like I was actually surprised because I felt like the little bit we heard over the weekend with the other clip that we talked about yesterday, that was to me more promising than this. This felt like it was just a muddled mess of a theme that was hinting at like different eras of Spider-Man, especially like the recent Tom Holland theme. Like it wasn't it wasn't as iconic as like you listen to the Fantastic Four theme the first time around, the new one that Michael Giacchino did, or like you listen to Michael Giacchino's The Batman music, or like Hans Zimmer's The Amazing Spider-Man track from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, that theme. They just it just hits you immediately. Even going back to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man theme, this just felt like really muddled, and it didn't really have any clear ideas, musical ideas. That so I was a little disappointed personally. I don't know if you guys got to listen to this. It's on YouTube. You can go look for Michael Giacchino's got a channel, and he put it up there. Again, it's just one piece of probably a much bigger score. But I don't know. I was a little disappointed personally. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would probably say like 4 out of 10. I was really expecting a lot better. Like I wanted something like very, very iconic right out the bat, because what he has done with some of those other iconic franchises, superhero franchises as well. Michael Giacchino, hopefully the rest of the soundtrack or the rest of the score is better than what we heard here. So anyway, that's going to be it for our MCU Weekly stuff. Only Spider-Man related stuff today. John, let's talk about the biggest news of the day. Of course, we were mentioning it yesterday how they held press junket screenings last week. They just did the world premiere in London for the Odyssey, and now today the social media reactions embargo had dropped, so we have the first reactions to the Odyssey out in the the internet and the world at large. Let's go through a few of them because I was reading them, and you look at it right there, staggering. Nolan's biggest film to date. And I heard like somebody was calling it like Nolan's magnum opus. Like it's pretty astonishing, some of these reactions. Not entirely unexpected, but do you want to walk through a few of them, John? Because if you zoom into it a little bit, we got a bunch we can go through.
So a bunch of these, you got Timeout, dense but accessible, packed with career best work from the stacked cast. Morton is extraordinary. It's a dizzying mix of craft and spectacle that's built to last. I'm not going to go through like every single one, but we got indie. I'll zoom into this.
Hey.
But the Odyssey, a surprising, natural, and less despairing Oppenheimer follow-up about a man haunted by defying the gods and dooming civilization. This one fights to avenge his own hubris. IMAX obviously immense, too clunky to be S-tier Nolan, but the last act rewards the journey. Variety. I have seen Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and it is an astonishing achievement. Nolan's biggest film to date. This film has about triple the number of huge set pieces than any of Nolan's previous films. Yeah, I could take a guess with that one. And every single one of them is breathtaking in their own way. A Hollywood Reporter aka this one, said, "Been seeing his movies in theaters since Memento, and after 25 years, The Odyssey gives us a fleshed out horror sequence directed by Christopher
Ooh,
Nolan. The
okay.
Odyssey is staggering, packed with intense and spectacular set pieces, often backed by a soul-rattling score. It builds to a final act that's as good as anything Nolan's done. Purists
Oh
may
no, it's
balk at the
also
yeah, it
yeah.
says
Sorry, go ahead.
purists may balk at the
Yeah,
adaptation changes, but as an experience, nobody is doing it like Nolan. Christopher
right.
Nolan's The Odyssey is incredible. I've been lucky enough to watch it twice, and it gets better on the second viewing. I'm really blown away by this film. If you can see it in IMAX 70mm, it's a jaw-dropping experience. It'll be great wherever you see it, but IMAX 70mm is the best option. Eric
Obviously,
Davis,
obviously.
absolute triumph and a crowning achievement from one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
okay. So
pretty good.
Charlize
She's playing
Theron
Calypso.
is
Yeah, I was gonna tell you.
Calypso.
Yes,
Yeah,
she's Calypso, not Cersei. Charlize Theron
yeah.
is playing Calypso. Yes, exactly. There's a difference there. I just remember when we first found out that she was playing Calypso, I was like, it goes back to the one of the Pirates movies where you're just gonna the whisper Calypso and like was it? I think what was it? She played she was in the Daniel Craig Bond movies as Monty Penny. I forget the name of the actor. Naomi Watts was it? She I think
No,
played.
it was
I'm I always mix up her
Not
name.
Naomi Aki. It was fuck.
Uh, it's not. Is it Naomi Campbell? No, that's not it. I'm just gonna have to look up like Spectre. What was
Naomi
that?
Harris.
No, Naomi Harris. Okay, gosh, she was in that. She was in like the man who fell from Earth or something remake with on
Oh, I never
Showtime
watched
too.
that. It was Alex
Actually, it was pretty
Kurtzman,
good.
so I'm like, nope, don't watch
Yeah.
that
Well,
one.
I mean, Naomi Harris played Calypso in the Pirates movie. But anyway, so yes, Charlize Theron plays Calypso. Great reactions. One thing you do notice here, these are a lot of the bigger outlets, like trades and other big news outlets, IndieWire, the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, because again, they did a press junket. They're not really showcasing these movies to a lot of those influencers. First off, a few like you saw Eric Davis's name there, but like Collider, like you have a lot of the bigger outlets getting first dibs, which again is something they're doing differently here. I think we had a couple of other pages. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything new here. Astonishing, epic, flawless filmmaking. More reactions. I
A
think Collider's
filmmaking
pairing
feast,
Nemiroff.
staggering
Yeah,
achievement, flawless filmmaking, triumphant,
filmmaking.
spectacular, epic. Praised Robert Pattinson. He's so conniving, manipulative, and endlessly entertaining to watch. Matt Damon, a great, blah blah blah. All that fun stuff.
All that fun stuff. Yep, yep. I mean, the reactions are pretty good. I mean, I think Deadline also put together critics and fanboys. I love the little like nudge that Deadline gave in that headline. Uh,
Pure
thank you
cinema.
guys. You corrected us, Naomi Harris. Pure cinema. I
Believe
mean,
the
it's
hyperbole. The Odyssey is that film, dense but accessible.
yeah.
And then these
Hey,
actually have like the actual like
social
tweets
media
that
like the tweets. Yeah. Some more of the influencers, as it were. I mean, and then some of the critics too. Yeah. I mean, it sounds good. Like maybe if you
I
could,
mean, I
I
won't
don't know,
believe
pause on a
anything
random
until I
one.
see it because like
Wait, hold on. Like
critics might
go like if you pause on one. Um. Oh yeah, that's the flawless filmmaking one. Okay, it's just the same. It's the same shit stuff.
yeah, it's just like I won't believe
Yeah,
anything until I see the movie because, it's like I don't really trust critics all that much
I,
because sometimes
but
they
honestly,
can
do you not trust Christopher Nolan? Like considering of all the
I trust Christopher
filmmakers,
Nolan,
like
but here's the thing. You had all the people that trust Steven Spielberg and a ton of people hated Disclosure Day.
that's
And
true.
everyone said that was the
I did
best
hate that. Hi,
fucking
Filmologia.
Spielberg movie in 30
Nope, it's
years.
not.
And I
It's
mean, I
definitely
think
not.
so, but a lot of people fucking didn't. So it's just like, well, we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll believe the critics on this one. Maybe I won't. So I don't know just yet. We'll have to see. I'm still excited. I still want to see it. I'm not, the assholes that are like, oh, fuck this movie, but I think this will be I think this will be very epic, very good time. It's just like I want one of these movies because Supergirl wasn't a win. Like I want one of these movies that all these fucking douchebag asshole incels that are like, this is gonna suck to just be a win. Like, okay, Supergirl wasn't a win. Please, for the love of God, let Odyssey be a win. Let that be a great movie. Let that finally hit $1 billion again for fucking Nolan. That's all I want. I just want these fucking douchebags to fucking eat crow. So that's all. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a feeling this will still do fantastically well. And obviously the reviews, those reactions are fantastic. And I mean, once the review embargo drops this week, or soon, I think, we'll talk about, the full reviews and see what the Rotten Tomatoes score says. And then we'll hopefully, the closer the Metacritic score, those are the numbers that, that matter. But yeah, hey, Killers of the Flower Moon was not flawless, by the way. It was also really
the only flaw for me was the
it was
pacing.
good.
Everything else was like 10 out of 10. Like,
I think the pacing was like a killer for me. Speaking of Killers of the Flower Moon, everything else was pretty fantastic. I had some minor issues outside of it, but anyway, look, Christopher Nolan was talking about something happened on the set of the Odyssey that hasn't happened since The Dark Knight. Caleb, saying that one Odyssey star stunned the crew like Heath Ledger once upon a time did on the set of The Dark Knight, and as you can see with the photo in the headline there, he was talking about. Robert
Samantha
Pattinson.
Morton,
Morton.
who we did talk about yesterday.
It was the quick hit that we talked about.
Yeah, they gave them a standing ovation or whatever. So
he basically, this is what he had to say. He said this was a massive film. She's someone who comes in and changes the dynamic. In some weird way, the film lived or died over that character. She was the fulcrum. I've always admired Samantha's work. She brings so much depth and thinking about her role. There are no limitations on her performance. After one of her takes, the crew gave her a great round of applause. I was talking with Emma, his wife and producing partner, afterwards, and she remembered that the last time that had happened was with Heath Ledger on The Dark Knight. So Samantha Morton, I mean, she's been on the red carpet with the cast, and she was at the photo call in London. She was at the world premiere. Can't wait to see, what that scene is. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to be a scene that automatically sticks out in the movie, but I mean, something that has not happened for 20 years in Nolan's career happened again, which is, everybody gave a round of applause, basically a standing ovation on set. That's pretty rare. I mean, usually on set, like, most people are just like, God, like, let's shoot the net scene. They're trying to just make their day. So for them to be like, holy shit, that was amazing, to like actually clap, like, that's pretty rare. So yeah, that's good. But yeah, good for Sir President Christopher Nolan and the movie. You guys let us know. Are you more excited or less excited about the Odyssey? The reactions are, I mean, honestly, did you guys expect anything different? Like everybody calling it flawless, huge, biggest movie, magnum opus. I saw an interview where John Leguizamo was literally like almost calling Nolan like a god on the red carpet for the film. I'm like, calm down, buddy. I can't wait to see what Liz says when she sees the movie, because John Bernthal is in the film. He's playing the King of Sparta, I think.
Let me tell you something about Odysseus. Let me tell you something.
Exactly. It's gonna be fun. I think all of us are gonna go watch it. And it's going to be interesting because, I mean, financially, Nolan hasn't hit $1 billion since The Dark Knight Rises. So, I mean, Oppenheimer came the closest, but we'll see if this one finally, makes that, and breaks that barrier, the $1 billion barrier. I mean, Samantha Morton was, I remember her in John Carter. That movie deserved better, but, hey, we'll see it. We'll review it. The Odyssey's coming out, and now like a couple of weeks away. It's not that far off, so we'll get into it when that happens. But John, in the meantime, we have a little bit of more of a business of Hollywood, but I feel like an important story. Big money, big jobs, and of course, big bucks for film and TV tax credits. They just put out a list of movies that got greenlit, recently, movies and TV shows that are part of the upgraded California tax credit. And I think this is kind of interesting because, we've talked about how LA has been losing productions, like, Marvel films, pretty much everything out in the UK. I believe DC does a lot of their stuff. I mean, Harry Potter is being shot entirely in the UK. Not that that's entirely new, but if you go down in this article a bit, there's a chart and it lists out the number of projects that have taken advantage of this new tax credits that California has upgraded. It's not something that didn't exist before, but it's really expanded. Some of the key movies and projects that stick out that they've taken advantage of this, the new Donkey movie, the new Shrek movie, are part of it. Disney's to got some of the tax credits. A lot of those are obviously animated movies so far that I'm mentioning, but I know The Accountant 2 actually took advantage of this as well. We've talked about that show on Netflix. The Night Agent is moving to LA because it got the tax credits. There's some untitled Pixar movies in there, untitled Warner Brothers movie in there as well. 27, which is a Bristol Pictures movie, smaller, production. So yeah, there's a number of movies on this list. Power, which is the TV show Power, films in LA because it's taking advantage of this. So it is helping. I mean, there's a movie called Gingerbread Man from Artist Equity. That's Matt Damon, Ben Affleck's company. So yeah, I mean, and you can see they even give you the numbers for how much money they're getting, the credit amount, and I think that the dollar value equates to, or like what they spent to qualify for it. Even calling, what independent, non-independent movies. There's a lot of 10 million and under projects, but there are a few over 10 million, like the big animation movies. So it's good. And they, it's good because it's bringing more production back to LA, which is once upon a time was the place to film movies and TV shows. But obviously a lot of that's moved on to other parts of the world. But, yeah, The Night Agent the season 1 was set in DC, but then season 2 and beyond, they've sort of moved around. And it also, if there, even if you are set in DC, doesn't mean you get to film in DC, other than the exteriors. So yeah, let's hope that, the exodus from Hollywood, they could stem the tide a bit more, because I feel bad because like there's so many iconic locations in LA, and now there's movies that will go film elsewhere and use that as a stand-in for LA. Like I'd like use the OG stuff. Like
essentially
it also
what happened
boosts the
with
economy.
Canada and New York.
Yeah.
Where it was like New York became way too fucking expensive to film there, and so they started using Vancouver.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. I mean, it's happened before. I mean, New York though has kind of rebounded because they've got a pretty competitive tax credit. Netflix in New Jersey,
it's mainly
they're
for
building
TV
that whole
stuff, because I know
soundstage
Law and
studio,
Order and shit like that films.
Yeah.
There, but
yeah. But hey, you know what? Good for California. And it looks like the results are coming in. I mean, it's still not like it's completely overturning the momentum, but it's certainly stemming the tide. Speaking of stemming the tide, John, Ali G has returned. Apparently, Sacha Baron Cohen, while we were sleeping and living our lives, he went from a very disappointing run in the MCU as Mephisto, which, I mean, we'll see if he's gonna come back for that or not, and secretly went around and actually shot an entire Ali G movie. Which is going to revive the beloved character, as they say here in this article. I was very pleasantly surprised to see this. I was like, what the fuck? Like, Ali G, I'm like, it takes me all the way back to 2004 to 2005. I was living in the UK. Ali G Indahouse came out. I mean, the TV show was around, and it's just like, I know like Sacha Baron Cohen's, brand of comedy isn't everybody's cup of tea, but like, damn, I just, Ali G Indahouse was such a favorite of mine, so I can't wait for this. And the fact that just went out and like shot this like just in secret, like obviously we've seen this before, like the Borat movie wasn't something that was like, oh, we're filming Borat, so it's not the first time he has done something like this, but like, yeah, this is, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Like Ali G, it's one of my childhood favorites. I found a clip from when he interviews Donald Trump. I'm just like, this clip has aged so gracefully. Ali G interviewing Donald Trump. Towards the he's pitching ice cream. I think the way this ends is super iconic.
Well, it sounds like an interesting.
We've got that P. Diddy is going to be in it.
Good.
Yeah, Donald Trump and P. Diddy in the same video with Ali G. It's just, yeah. This is the kind of comedy that we eat right now. I mean, it's, yeah. Ali who? Bane, you gotta go back. You gotta Google your, the Ali G show, the Ali G show, and you gotta get your Ali G, and like just go find the movie. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it's streaming. I'm sure you can buy it or rent it or find it in the $3 DVD bin somewhere if those still exist. But yeah, I don't know. John, did you ever watch Ali G at all? No? Okay.
I don't.
Well, apparently Ali G is returning. I can't wait for this.
Somehow
It takes
Ali
me
G
back.
returned.
It's somehow Ali G returned. I is here, and this, it's wicked. The movie's gonna be great. It takes me back. The nostalgia is hitting right now. This is one of those things where I realize I may be on an island but I will take it and I will run with it like Ali G once upon a time did and will again. So, John, with that, let's move on to the quick hits. I believe we got to get to the quick hits, and then we get to DC. Let's do that.
Speaking of nostalgia, for me at least, we got Last Airbender. Avatar Aang, the Last Airbender trailer and poster revealed ahead of surprise Paramount Plus release this month. So apparently, it was originally supposed to come out in like October or November.
October, yep.
But then it said, oh no, it's going straight to Paramount Plus because David Ellison is a chode and a piece of shit and doesn't know real cinema because he's a fucking little bitch boy. So we're not getting this in theaters, but it's going straight to Paramount Plus. And then also it got leaked. It got leaked. And now it's coming out. Apparently, I think it's July 24th, 25th.
I think it's 25th, July 25th. Because it got leaked, the whole thing got leaked. They were like, you know what? Fuck you guys. We're just gonna put it on streaming that much sooner. I'm like, okay, we should leak more things. Release the entirety of Avengers.
Well, I mean,
Doomsday.
if the movie's good, but if the
sooner.
movie's not good, then it doesn't fucking matter. But
I mean, the trailer. So they put out a trailer. I watched the trailer. It's funny. It's impressive. It very much
has
feels
that
like
same
it belongs
vibe. It has
in
a
the same
slightly different.
vibe.
It kind of has more of like a. It's I'm pretty sure it's like more of a 3D kind of vibe.
Well, it's a mix.
Like
it feels like a
2D
mixture.
and 3D.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks good. It looks I will
good.
say
fun.
I don't like the voice of Aang though. Like he sounds like he's supposed to be an adult, but he still sounds like a whiny kid. So it's just
I didn't notice it as much as you did though. Like honestly,
I don't know. It just sounded weird to me. Like everyone sounds like more adult. Meanwhile, you just still have like, man, the Last Airbender. It's just like, okay, bro, you're like supposed to be like what 30 at this point. Stop being a bitch. All right, goddamn.
The one thing I will say, the movie seems to be like, it starts off in the trailer like showing that everything, all the tribes are living together. The world is amazing, and Avatar, basically the show ended, and they achieved world peace. But then some random other airbender gets found, and then all of a sudden the world is in chaos, and now you're trying to get back to where you were at the beginning of the movie. So it's almost like what, did this movie need to exist? Because they have to like justify, like the story of the movie justifies the existence of the movie by being like, oh, we had world peace, but then we found a dude who was not the dude that we thought he was, and then all of a sudden now everything is wild and like shit's going down. So it's like, okay. Like, so it's, I don't know, like it's a tight
I think it's like because people have wanted to see these guys again, and we wanted to see them like as like older, like how they are like as like adults.
I get it, yeah.
So I think they have this still the same dynamic, still has the same level of comedy. They all are great. So I'm excited for it. I just hope it's good. Because maybe there is a reason it went to streaming, and it's because it sucks. So we'll see.
Maybe because I mean Paramount could have used another like movie they could put out in theaters to make up.
Yeah, it's like what's gonna
like,
sustain you? Fucking Primate and Scream 7? Like, come on now.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Well, yeah. And the poster looks nice though. Yeah,
good stuff. Liz Merriweather adapting Britney Spears biopic "The Woman in Me" at Universal for John M. Chu. Great. Okay, don't really care.
Hey, Britney Spears. I mean, Millie Alcock could probably play a great Britney Spears. I was offered that suggestion.
That's beneath Millie Alcock. John Goodman joins Brie Larson in horror thriller Skeletons from Sony Pictures.
Nice.
Cool. Good for nice. John Goodman. Dwayne Johnson, oh my god, the hierarchy of movies is still changing, guys. Dwayne Johnson to star as motorcycle stuntman with dementia in Freebird, spelled with a Y, from Sing Sing director Greg Quidar. So that's certainly interesting. So it's like
that is very interesting.
It's like it's like the Fall Guy meets The Father, I guess.
Right. I was gonna say that. I was like, the first half of that headline is like, oh, they're doing another Fall Guy, and then you're like, oh no, wait, this is gonna try to win awards. So okay.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Dwayne Johnson and Tom Cruise are really trying to get an Oscar. So Tom Cruise, Dwayne Johnson, and Bradley Cooper, they're all really, really, really trying to win an Oscar. Like,
it's. Yeah, I mean, look, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's Artist Equity is producing the movie, so hey, you know what? I'll support it because those guys are doing great stuff.
Sure. So. The hierarchy of dementia is about to change. Terminator 2. Judgment Day returns to theaters in 4K and Real D 3D for 35th anniversary. I am definitely gonna see this. I've missed the last because I feel like Terminator 2 gets like re-released in theaters like every other year at this point.
Every 5 years at this point.
Like I because the last time I missed it, the time before that I missed it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm an adult. I have a fucking AMC Stubs A-list. I'm gonna go fucking see this.
Just go see it.
And,
I saw the Titanic re-release, the last one.
I saw the Titanic 3D re-release when that came out. So that was...
John, don't forget to get some Real D in 3D when Terminator 2 comes back.
Yeah.
Theaters.
But yeah, can't wait to see this. And speaking of re-releases, I am gonna be seeing Citizen Kane tomorrow for the first time in a theater, so that's gonna be interesting. So wish me luck on that one. But yeah, next up, Mariska Hargitay to host 2026 Emmy Awards on NBC. Cool.
Makes sense. She's like their face of NBC with all the SVU seasons that will never end. So cool.
Yep. Jennifer Beals speaking of stuff that never ends, joins LL Cool J and Scott Conn in NCIS New York. 3 others cast.
This is a spin-off because those guys were in the other one. They were in NCIS Los Angeles, right? Both Scott Conn and LL Cool J.
There's NCIS New Orleans, Los Angeles, New York, NCIS, CSI, FBI, CIA, Miami, like, you know.
But like those guys were specifically NCIS Los Angeles. It was with who was Chris Donnelly, who was Robin back in the 90s.
Chris O'Donnell.
He was in that. Chris O'Donnell, sorry. And that got canceled a couple of years ago. So now, now they're doing I guess NCIS New York. Jennifer Beals, you know what? She still looks like she's 25 years old.
Also, I know the spoiler. Fucking Rosebud is his sled. It's a fucking 85-year-old movie. Everybody fucking knows Rosebud is the sled. Like, hello? What are we doing here? Anyway.
This is a lot of there's just a lot of naval crime, Brian. So much
World Cup sets
crime.
another ratings record in US, lost to Belgium. Belgium has freedom. Anyway. So RIP to US.
Yeah, it was
Cup, but that's okay.
It was like 38 point some million viewers, which is like a new record. So yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? Yeah, the US team still needs to figure out how they can play with the big boys, because I mean Belgium is not even the best team in this tournament, like not even like the second or third best. So, but they took care of them 4-1 by the end of it. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Although Caleb, speaking of gross, Mr. Beast will be a shark on the new season of ABC's Shark Tank.
Jimmy Donaldson is really doing everything but, his YouTube thing now. He's just graduated to like doing other shit, which is fine.
He's just annoying everybody's existence in other fields.
Dude, look at this lineup. Jimmy Donaldson, Mindy Kaling, JJ Watt, and then Aaron and Sarah Foster are going to be guest sharks on season 18.
I have no idea who most of those people are. I know Mindy Kaling.
Outside of JJ...
Jimmy.
Look, outside of JJ Watt, none of those appeal to me. JJ Watt was like a tight end for the Houston Texans. Or no, he was a defensive.
Oh, okay. No wonder I don't give a fuck. Okay.
Anyway. How you like... Never mind. You don't like football. Your dad likes football. That's why you support the Giants. I get it.
Yeah, I just... Anyway. I like football more than like basketball and hockey and shit like that. So.
I suppose that's fair. Anyway. That's a quick hits.
Yep. Quick hit time.
Kinda
the
quick
quick hits
today.
were quick this time.
Yes, they were.
Hell yeah. But
you know what that means, though, John?
Thanks for watching this side of the news, of the DCU dailies, of all that stuff. So, okay,
it's DC time.
But yeah, DC time. Let's just move on.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Honka honka.
All right, it is honka honka time. Bane indeed is backbreaking time. It is DC time. So welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily. Of course, we have a number of things to get into today. We're gonna talk about Supergirl. We're gonna talk about hey, what's coming next now? I mean, how do you right the ship after the absolute disaster that at the box office that Supergirl was? And also, I mean, as a movie, it was pretty mid. I think is the way the kids would describe it. So we'll talk about that. Where do James Gunn and Peter Safran go from here? We'll talk a little bit about Lanterns. We have some new artwork, some new promotional materials for Lanterns that just got put out into the world, and they look good. There's plenty of green in there. I mean, it's enough for me. I don't know about John. We'll talk about that later. And we have a couple of quick hits, including something about Christopher Reeve's Superman, which I thought was kind of impressive, all things considered. So, John, what part of DCU Daily are you most excited to talk about today?
I will say the Lantern stuff isn't too bad. Like, I think it's because, like, I'm not really excited for Lanterns. I'm just really curious how, after what happened with Supergirl, how the DCU is gonna continue, and the next project is Lantern. So I'm really curious. Maybe it'll be a giant surprise. Maybe it'll probably be the case of, like, best case scenario is, like, a lot of people love it, not DC fans, but like maybe Tom King fans love it. But I won't. But I do hope it is positive, just purely on the grounds, like, I just want people to stop shitting on the DCU. It's just tiring. Like, I mean, if you don't like the DCU, that's fine. If you don't like what they're doing, that's totally cool. It's just like, it's just exhausting being, like, so negative all the fucking time and just seeing constant negativity. So I'm just like, all right, okay, what are we doing here?
Hey, Jalen.
So,
yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. And I think we're gonna try to, like, look ahead a bit more than, like, wallow.
I love the people in the comments that are stealing each other's catchphrases
stuff. Yeah,
I like this.
Honka honka time, backbreaking time. Yeah, very quick on the trigger there. Anyway, we have a couple of quick hits, a couple of paradox and pelicans.
Speaking of quick to the trigger,
get through.
But yeah. So the first bit is just some cute, like, behind the scenes photos of of on Supergirl. Just
yeah.
Very nice.
I mean, this is the Scottish Highlands. Beautiful, beautiful location work.
Yeah,
I
very
wish they
beautiful
shot more of the
picture.
movie there.
And the Highlands and Eve Ridley are okay.
I like John. I feel like the most beautiful sequences, the most beautiful sequences in this movie were the ones that they're kind of shot at these practical locations. Like that stuff where Supergirl was parked up in the Highlands, or even where Ruthie's house is meant to be. Like that was all pretty fun to watch. And then when they were on some of the other planets where the wide shots with clearly they were shot on a real location with the sky replacements with, like, the two different suns, that still looked good. I think is when you were clearly on, like, a CG, like a blue screen sound stage that they had to, like, kind of work around. That's where I think the movies look really just all the brown grimy stuff that did not look good. I mean, the suit also was I was just like, that suit that Ruthie gets is literally, like, reminded me of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Hello, Darkly Derek. I was like, that very much feels like it's something that James Gunn was like, I still got some of those lying around from the last Guardians movie. You want to use one? But some of the gags there were fun, like the physical comedy gags. So
I don't know what.
I'm sure they had a lot of fun making the movie. I don't know.
And we were talking about this yesterday.
We talked about this yesterday. Yeah. Also, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
the Pirates. I wish we got to see more of that. It's just like we got so many hints of these other, like, pieces of that world, but we didn't really get to see.
Yeah, I don't know what that was supposed to be because it won't. It won't come back anyway. That's fine though.
It won't come back. It's fine. It's all good. Let's move on. We got a Christopher Reeve quick. This is something that I thought was pretty good to read, considering the movie is almost 50 years old. In a couple of years it will be. Christopher Reeve screen wore Superman 3 costume. Well, actually, Superman 3 isn't 50 years old. The original movie will be. But still, it's been several decades now. But Superman 3 is one of the costumes that Christopher Reeve wore, sold at an auction for $53,550. John, I mean, it's not like
honestly,
$1 million, but
more. I expected more.
Like 53,000. Like that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah. But it's like, it's Superman 3. Yeah. It's not going to cost as much as the original, so.
Well, I'm sure, like, that was part of it. But it's still, like, you love to see stuff like this because obviously that means there's plenty of people out there who are willing to fork out that kind of money to have a little bit of their piece of history, Superman history specifically. Who bought it? I don't know actually if that's in the article, John. Do they tell you? Does it smell like Richard Pryor? You gotta ask the person who bought it. It says the authentication details are the fun part for us memorabilia nerds. Let's see. The lot number 5585, according to prop store listings, is the blue knit tunic. All right, cool. So Christopher Reeve, Superman has hit the block auction block again. 2-Day Planet Hollywood auction. I don't think we really know who bought this. They tell you like all the other details, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know who bought it actually. That's a really good question. Unfortunately, I don't think I have an answer for you on that. But hey, 55 grand is still a good number. Wouldn't you want to have 55 grand in your pocket? Like instead of like being like, I don't think a lot of people have that kind of disposable income. So, some collector who clearly obviously loved Superman, Superman 3, obviously still the suit looks largely the same as what we got in the original movie. So yeah. All right. Cool beans. That's the quick hits. Let's move on. We're going to talk about some Lantern stuff. John will return. Until then, I shall keep the ball rolling. So let me bring this up. Did you guys see this? They put out some new artwork, some new promotional material for Lanterns, and I thought it was pretty impressive. So let's take a look at it real quick. Some new posters. Putting the spotlight on, of course, both of our leads, Hal Jordan and John Stewart. I will say there's a lot of green here. If you guys are looking for the green, I certainly think we found it. Let me kind of scroll down a little bit. This is part of a whole batch of things that they released. So you got this one right here. No evil shall escape my sight. I'll pop that open for a moment. I like the look of this. Lanterns, no evil shall escape their sight. Hal Jordan, John Stewart, very like this postery art. This kind of reminds me of the art style that they used for like Batman v Superman posters back in the day, which again, I'm not trying to like just draw a comparison for the sake of drawing a comparison, but it does look nice. It looks nice. Let's go back. Let's see what else we have here. I like the green. I like to see the green. You got promo art that's probably not more poster art. That might be for other forms and mediums, but you got the one sheets. I like this other stuff here. Let me actually just click through this. You guys let me know which of these stick out to you. This looks like some kind of like soundtrack cover. Honestly, I don't think that's what it's meant to be, but in brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. And you get the same thing from both guys. Yeah, looks nice. I like the look of them. Definitely like the look of them. Then you got this stuff here. More artwork. I'm sure this is gonna make for great, thumbnail fodder for the show. I'm ready for the show, Jalen. I'm so ready. We have had like 2 trailers already, so I feel like they're waiting to make a push on this, or they were probably gonna start pushing as soon as Supergirl came out. But I don't know, like now, with how not well Supergirl is doing, if they're just like, we're gonna sit on this for a bit before we start to like move across and start advertising it. But obviously this promo art being out on the internet means that something is going on behind the scenes. So I personally like John's poster too. I think John Stewart's got some great art. This again, no evil shall escape their sight. I like the minimalist look. I like that they're using as much green as they possibly can, all things considered. It's still got a bit of the grungy look, so it's good. Can it be better? Sure, it can be better. But it still looks pretty sweet.
I will say with these, they look like promos for an entirely different show. It's just like they don't fit the tone of the show that we've seen so far. So
like these,
because
like the background here is yeah.
It's just
like what you're saying, John. The background here matches the new promo stuff, and the logo is like what we have seen so far. And there is like a little, like this to me has a little bit of cognitive dissonance going on. Like I'm like those two things, the logo and the background don't necessarily belong together all that well. But yeah.
I mean, it looks good. I mean,
the other stuff looks good.
It's just like that doesn't really matter if the show sucks. So like we'll see. But yeah, I do think the promos are the logos and stuff are pretty.
Yeah, let me actually see if I can. Let me go back to the poster for a minute. Let's take a look at. So this is the artwork again. Let's go back. I like the look of these. I definitely like the look of these. Look at this one, both of them together. We'll see how this ties into the show, because I mean it's an HBO show. This is clearly promotional material. It's not going to be like these one sheets are not going to have anything to do with the show itself. It's not a movie, but there are other areas obviously where this is going to be used in marketing materials. So yeah, I like this one too. Lanterns. I mean the double ring. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but sure. I mean it's HBO though. You know, it's HBO, and you got to trust HBO because they don't really miss very often. But John, I believe you have it open. How many days? Remind us how many days we are away from Lanterns for those of us who are still sort of mourning Supergirl. Like it's not that far off. That's like a month and some change.
A month and some change.
We are.
You know,
how many weeks is that? That's like, I want to say that's like just under 6 weeks. We're just under 6 weeks away from Lanterns coming out. So if you can, you know, live with the Odyssey in a couple of weeks and then Spider-Man Brand New Day a couple of weeks after that, as soon as you go see Spider-Man Brand New Day, then Lanterns is going to be out in the world. So it's that close. 40 days. Yeah, it's getting closer and closer. Bane saying, when they say the oath the first time, I hope they make it real epic. You know, that's the thing. I feel like, John, do you think they're going to do one of those, like, you know, Avengers, like that kind of thing, like they did in Endgame? Or are they gonna like make it like what they did with Ryan Reynolds' version back in 2011, where he kind of recites it out loud? Because I'm like, one of those could come across very cheesy. The other one, it just depends on like where in the narrative that comes up. Like, I don't know. Do you think that's gonna be an overtly like big part of the show, that when you take on the ring, you have to?
I think maybe it could be. Like maybe you know, like I think they should wait to use it like when Jon Stewart finally, you know, reaches that point of like when he's like ready to like truly become a Lantern. He's like, then he says it. I like maybe like third to last episode, second, whenever that point is in the show. I think that would be good.
Right.
I think that would be pretty good.
I think that, yeah, I don't think you want to do it for a cheap pop. I feel like it needs to really hit in some epic way.
I don't want any like fake outs either, you know.
Yeah.
Where Hal like starts to like in brightest. Oh wait, what was that? And then it's just like they cut. I can see fucking like.
I really don't think this is that kind of a show. I don't think this is that
honestly,
kind of a show.
I could see them doing that because it's stupid and it's bad, and so that goes homogenous with Tom King. So.
Sure. But hey, you know what? The artwork looks nice. I would like to see another trailer before the show actually gets released. John, do you feel like this show couldn't come soon enough, considering right now everything about DC seems to be how bad Supergirl was or how badly it did at the box office? Because I'm like, regardless of whether it's good or not, like changing the subject may be the best thing DC could do right now.
Yeah, maybe. That's what they try to do with like.
Not entirely convinced.
Shazam failed. Oh God, we gotta, you know, go to Flash. Oh, Flash failed. We gotta go to Blue Beetle. Oh, Blue Beetle failed. We gotta go to Aquaman. Well, we have nothing left, and this cinematic universe ends with Patrick Wilson.
Well, yeah. To be fair,
so you know,
to be fair, Aquaman and like did end up making like a good amount of money. I think it was like 400 million plus. So it was sort of profitable. But. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, when it's earned and it has good character development, you know, that's what it's for. Then I think using the oath there should be earned. It shouldn't be just like a cheap pop thing. But yeah, speaking of, oh dear God, yeah, we do have to talk about Supergirl again. But speaking of changing the subject, I think we're gonna talk about it in a way that feels less pessimistic, because this article I thought was a pretty good way of kind of moving the needle, you know, or moving the plot forward, let's say.
Right.
And,
I think
you know,
this should
for lack
be
of a better analogy.
After this, we kind of move on. Like, even if there's like, unless there's like a major Supergirl story, I think at this point
we'll follow the box office. But yeah, I think this here again, it was a great article on comicmovie.com. They were like, look, these are 5 ways, according to the writer of this article, that James Gunn can, you know, immediately, I think immediately is a little bit much, but like basically 5 ways in which the DCU can, you know, move forward from Supergirl after it crashed and burned and right the ship. Yeah. Let's go through these, Sean. I feel like we talked about it a little bit yesterday because you guys were asking, like, how would we go about, you know, changing up what you're doing moving forward so this doesn't happen again? Hello M2G, by the way. So yeah, number 5, get Batman and Wonder Woman in theaters by 2028. Next year, you're getting Man of Tomorrow, and you're getting the Batman Part 2. One of those is a DCU project. We don't know which TV shows, whether animated or live action, that will come out in 2027 will be part of the DCU, because we don't really know if that Jimmy Olsen show is set to release next year. We don't know if Creature Commando Season 2 is going to end up releasing next year. So, John, we know for sure there's 2 movies, but only one of them is a DCU thing. So, after Clayface, if the vibe is good, great. But if the vibe is a little like, Clayface kind of whiffed a little bit on the quality, then people will have to wait until July for Man of Tomorrow. I feel like 2028 has to be the year that you put Batman and Wonder Woman in this new cinematic universe. Because at that point, the DCU would have existed from the release of Creature Commandos to Superman for 3 or 4 years, right? Like, because Creature Commandos came out at the end of 2024 into 2025, and now we got, Supergirl this year, obviously, Superman and Peacemaker last year. If you don't have a Batman and Wonder Woman in your cinematic universe 4 or 5 years in, I think, then you're going to be in trouble. Like, do you agree with this? Do you think they need to make 2028 the year?
I think 2028 is a little bit of a, it's too short at this point. I think 2029 is a better bet, because the thing is, Anna Noguera even said...
Not even for one of them, though? Like,
well, Anna Noguera said, like, she's barely started on Wonder Woman. Like, she even said, like, oh, it's in the very beginning, early stages.
I mean,
and
God,
that's
what should be
even if she still has a fucking
like...
job at DC anymore, and we'll get to that soon enough. But I would say 2029 seems like a better bet. But we'll see, but the thing is, with Batman, at least I would say Batman is a little bit more hopeful, because you have a writer that's been working on this. You have Andy Muschietti, which is, for better or for worse. But Wonder Woman is a little bit harder, but I think Batman would be a little bit easier to get by 2028 if Christina Hodson has been working and she's been doing well with the script, and Andy Muschietti doesn't like fucking dick around like, oh, I'm gonna make this sci-fi film that I wanted to make, or whatever the fuck he was like, oh yeah, Batman, that'll come, I'll do that like eventually. And then but as long as they take it serious, it's like, yeah, get Batman done. Like, in terms of DCU Batman, get that shit done. Because at this point, I know, like, James Gunn, allegedly people claim, like, oh, he's waiting for Matt Reeves to finish his shit so he can do his shit. No, at this point, you can't fucking dawdle around anymore with Batman. Batman is the fucking biggest moneymaker you have. You gotta put out a Batman movie for the DCU, or else, like, was gone before it even fucking began. So, get that shit out, like, at ASAP, dude. Like, I understand, like, you're gonna have people being like, which Bat? Wait, but Robert Pattinson is Bat. Yeah, you're gonna have those idiots, fine. But, like, anybody with half a fucking functioning brain cell is gonna figure out, oh, it's 2 different fucking continuities. We can make this work. You gotta put out a Batman movie. You got it. Like, I understand, like, I want to see the weird characters. I want to see the weird shit, but, like, at the end of the day, Batman makes money and Wonder Woman kind of sort of makes money. So, fucking put that
That's
shit
a good
out.
point. Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's a high stakes project, but like Wonder Woman, we don't know who the director would be. I think there's more certainty because at least Andy Muschietti is attached to that project for Batman, and Christina Hodson, yeah, I mean, it may be further along. So, I mean, they still have the Wonder Woman TV show in development. I personally, though, I kind of do agree that getting a Batman Wonder Woman movie out in theaters in the same year in 2028, I don't think is impossible. Here's why I will say it could work. Because if you think of, hear me out for a minute. The Batman movie, let's pretend, the assumption I'm making is the Batman movie is further along in script writing phase than Wonder Woman is, because of what Ana Guerra recently was saying, which again, she may be just throwing us off the scent because she doesn't want to let on how far along she is in writing that movie. But let's just assume that Batman is further along. I'm like, if you get it into pre-production by early next year, you could get it out the door. Like, the Batman Part 2 comes out next October. What would stop the DCU Batman coming out in October of 2028? I know Batman movies historically have released in the summer months, like the later summer months, like where Warner Brothers typically releases a couple of big movies in late July or August months, and a lot of the Dark Knight movies came out in those times frames. So you know, can they make that? It'd be a little tough. But if you start filming the movie next year, depending on how VFX heavy it's going to be, which it probably will be somewhat VFX heavy, um, I wouldn't mind seeing that be like the second movie in 2028. And then we know we're getting like Dynamic Duo in 2028, but that's not a DCU project. It's a DC Studios project. And that's kind of like that's kind of separate completely on that level. Like it's animated, it's hybrid animation. It's great that they're working on that, but that's not something that James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to exercise as much direct control over as these two projects. Wonder Woman, on the other hand, I mean, I hope the script is further along, because you could again try to get that out the door by summer of 2028. Like, it's possible. It's not like we're currently sitting in July of 2026. If the Wonder Woman script is ready to go in a couple of months' time, you could do that still. It feels a little less likely that both of them could get out the door, but I feel like if they really wanted to, if it became enough of a priority, you could do it. Like I was reading a story about a movie recently where they were like, okay, the director and the writer, went on a little bit of retreat, and a month later they emerged. Actually, you know what it was? I was going through some behind the scenes of Independence Day, and Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin were talking about how after they made Stargate, which was a big success, like for a movie of its modest scale and budget in 1994, Fox was like, okay, so what else you guys got? And then they were like, okay, so they pitched a few ideas. They got a green light from Fox on Independence Day, and in the summer of 1995, or I think it was the spring of maybe or whatever, they were like, okay, so we went on a bit of a retreat for a month, and we emerged out of that retreat with a script that was completely done. And the writer and the director here in sync. In about a month or so's time, they went from the ideas of the pitch turned into a treatment and a script in a couple of months' time, let's say at most, like, even if they did some work before that retreat. And then we got Independence Day in 1996, 2 years from, Stargate. So I'm not saying that like you could draw a direct analogy here, but like you don't need like 6 months or 2 years to deliver a great script. If you have a great premise and you have your ideas down, I think you can do it. So yeah, I mean, I feel like they can make it happen. I don't know. Who's cutting out here? Is it John or myself? I can't tell.
Okay. I don't know if you were fucking up or I was fucking up, but
I think it might be you, John, but like, cause your thing is still, oh, there goes John. Oops. John will be back. You're fake saying, hello, you're fake. Well, whenever Wonder Woman releases, I don't think Anna should write the script. We will get to that in a minute. In fact, let's get past number 5. Let's go into number 4. Take Anna Nogueira. Okay, you're back, John. I think it was your.
I don't know what my Wi-Fi is still okay, so hopefully I don't fuck up again. But maybe it's this browser. I don't know. But
truly a no so curious moment. Yeah, I was very curious.
Because I was like, I don't know if I'm fucking up or you're fucking up, but
I checked the live stream on YouTube. I think it was you were like, oh, gone. But anyway, John, number 4 on this list, take Anna Nogueira off Wonder Woman writing duties. Do you think we need to just straight up get her off that project, or do you think,
100%.
Maybe they can give her a writing partner?
I would say,
like Enterprising was suggesting.
Yeah, it's just like clearly, like, I'm not saying like throw her to the wolves. Just be like, hey, buddy, here's the thing. The thing is, like, I would say keep her on Teen Titans. Like, Teen Titans is not as big of a
lower
property,
stakes project.
Yeah, right. Wonder Woman is big. Wonder Woman is the fucking one of the Trinity. All right, you can't fuck up Trinity. So I would say take her off that. Get another more veteran writer. Johnny. Get a comic book writer, not Tom King. Get one of these guys and just give that to them. And fucking Alan Heinberg is part of this universe. Fuck it. Just have him write another Wonder Woman movie. He wrote the last good one. So fuck it. Let's bring him again. He's already doing Mr. Terrific. Screw it. So, but I would say designate her to Teen Titans. Not saying like, oh, Teen Titans is bad or anything. It's just Teen Titans is, an entirely different project from Supergirl. It's more of an ensemble piece, that could like and the thing is, there's no, as long as you don't like do another adaptation of Judas Contract, just don't do a 1-to-1 adaptation like you try to do with Woman of Tomorrow and it fucked up. Just like here, just take these characters, make it work, have fun with that. Wonder Woman, there's more writing on like the more popular characters like Batman and Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman, you need like someone whose literal last movie was not a fucking failure, you know? So I like, here's the thing, I like Supergirl, but like she is a little bit at fault as to why the movie didn't work. Like it just, the writing was a little bit off, and I don't think that, I don't really trust her
I
with
think we
Wonder
talked
Woman
about it in detail at this
that big
point,
of a
yeah.
character, you know, but you also need to get a really good director, not someone like fucking Craig Gillespie who hasn't done a big blockbuster at all, who's ready to do this big cosmic adventure. No, don't do any of that. Get someone who can, you know, I wouldn't say get Patty Jenkins again, unless she's off doing her own thing, but I would say get someone
I wouldn't mind
who
I think,
has, well, get someone get new blood in here. Like, I don't want to, like, I would say, like, I joke, like, get Alan Heinberg, but like, get a new writer, get a new director, get people who haven't fucking worked on a Wonder Woman movie before, but get people who know how to write at least these kinds of characters and direct these kinds of characters in movies, because, you know, it's just clearly what Anna Guerra did with Supergirl didn't work. So clearly, I'm not saying like, oh, she can't write women or anything like that. It's just like Teen Titans. That's, I wouldn't say Teen Titans is experimental or more of a risk. It's just like, maybe that'll fit, because that's like nobody, I'm going to say it, nobody cares about Teen Titans. I'm going to say it, like the normies, the mainstream, they don't give a flying fuck about Teen Titans. Like, I like Teen Titans. You like Teen Titans. People in this chat like Teen Titans. Teen Titans are awesome. Teen Titans are great. However, the fucking Joe Schmo off the fucking street, it's like, what the fuck is Teen Titans? I don't know what the fuck that is. I know Wonder Woman. Yeah, that was the fucking other chick from 10 years ago who did that movie. Yeah, dude, like, people know Wonder Woman. She's popular enough, and she had a good movie fairly recently. So use that. Like, people know Wonder Woman. People don't fucking know Teen Titans. Like, maybe some guy who barely knows, I was like, oh yeah, I saw this thing when I was a kid fucking 25 years ago, and I watched this thing on Cartoon Network. Yeah, maybe you'll have that. But like, for the most part, I hate to say it, sorry if it bursts your fucking bubble, nobody fucking cares about Teen Titans. So designate the chick who fucking ruined Supergirl, throw her on Teen Titans, and give someone who can write properly, who knows how to write stuff, veteran writer on Wonder Woman, and get a good director, and there you go. Get Anna Guerra off there. I don't want to say it, kill her immediately, blah, 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 all that shit, throw her to the wolves. Maybe she can write better stuff, but like, Wonder Woman is too precious right now to fuck up. Same with Batman, but they've already fucked that up because they got Andy Muschietti and Christina Hodson for that. So you can't fuck up Wonder Woman now. You really can't fuck up Wonder Woman. So I say just leave her to Teen Titans.
I think it's fair. And also, like, remember, Teen Titans was what she was on first, and then I believe James Gunn was like, oh, Anna Guerra's, because remember, I don't think James Gunn has ever confirmed it per se, but I believe that in the beginning it was Teen Titans, and then eventually, I'm like, they clearly, like, they must really like trust her as, like, they're like, oh, she's, you know, done this movie, that movie, and then that movie, give her the next one. But I mean, now after post Supergirl, I feel like a lot of people are gonna want to, like, I think the pressure is on. But hello Pacerland. I think for me the biggest thing that I worry about is it's gonna feel reactionary. It's gonna feel like, oh, you know, one movie ended up not being great, like, therefore she's not, like, it's gonna become a PR nightmare too. Like I don't think
you don't have
they're gonna
to
take her
fucking
off.
announce it. Like, just be like, hey, girly pop, you didn't
But
do right with
eventually we're gonna
Supergirl.
know.
We're
Well, no,
gonna,
but I'm like,
you know, get a new writer. Okay, so yeah, people care about Nightwing. They care about Robin, but even then, Nightwing isn't really a household name. Robin kind of is. But like, I'm looking at like regular fucking Joe Schmo. Here's the thing: if it passes the dad Cereso test, then I'm like, cool. If I ask my dad, who fucking doesn't know shit about any of this shit, barely, I'm like, do you know what Wonder Woman is? He's like, yeah, I know what Wonder Woman is. If I ask him tomorrow, hey, Dad, do you know what Nightwing is? He's like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Then I'm sorry, that's my litmus test. I know that's like, you know, old boomer or whatever, but I'm like, that's the people forget about the average viewer who doesn't fucking read every comic, watch every show, fucking watch every movie. I'm thinking about those people, the people that didn't show up for Supergirl because they're like, that kind of looks like dog shit. I want to save my money for something else. So there you go. That's why.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I agree with you in terms of like, you know, the general audiences and who they're aware of. I think the DCEU's Wonder Woman was, you know, one of the best parts of that cinematic universe. It created an expectation. It creates a precedent now for that character where there is greater general awareness because of how well that movie did, especially the first one. So it is a high stakes project. And look, I will, in Ana Negura's defense, you know, just because one thing you wrote didn't come out very good doesn't mean the next thing you read will also be bad, particularly because it's not like she's doing another Supergirl.
I mean, look at this. So fucking Jeremy Slater wrote Fan Four Stick and he still has a career mainly because that wasn't his fault. But like he went on to do Moon Knight. People loved Moon Knight. That was great. Cool.
I mean, and he did rewrites for Supergirl too, by the way.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing I was thinking of. Like, they trust him enough, bring him in. So.
But wasn't he on Doom Patrol? Or is that somebody else?
That was Jeremy Carver. He's also part of
Jeremy Carver.
He and the Crystal Henry were writing Waller, but I don't think that's gonna fucking ever see the light of day.
Nobody knows where that's probably like, you know, hidden away like Batgirl at this point. The female director from Wuthering Heights.
No.
Who directed Wuthering Heights?
No. I'd rather have my dick chopped off than have that cunt be part of fucking Wonder Woman. No. Just because she has a fucking pussy doesn't mean she like, put her on Wonder Woman. That doesn't automatically mean anything. Ana Negura is a woman who wrote Supergirl, and that was apparently, according to many people, fucking sucked. No, please God, fucking no. Do not have fucking emerald fennel seeds in my Wonder Woman movie. Please fucking God, no, fucking no. Okay, stop. Don't even mention that to me again. Don't mention that to me. Oh my God.
I just think she hasn't done anything that is like you can go do a big comic movie. And you know, Wuthering Heights was a decently profitable movie, but not anything that blew away the box office. So hey, you know what? Hey, look, there's a non-0% chance, right? But anyway, because she did do that for Warner Brothers.
Anyway, let's move on to the next thing before this becomes too long. Yeah. We got.
By the way, I don't think it's very likely that she does get taken off that project. I do think Ana Negura is gonna end up writing the script, but you know, like if that also ends up becoming a movie that doesn't work, then I think the next thing after that is where Ana Negura like probably has fewer opportunities. But I think James Gunn is gonna stick to his guns. But let's take the number 3, John.
So I mean, this is what I kind of agree with. Like, take accountability. Yeah. I mean, take accountability because Peter Safran already kind of did it. He's like, oh, it's not to our it wasn't to our expectations.
Opening weekend in New York Times, he said that.
But yeah, so they already kind of did. Like, oh, that wasn't what we intended. Oh well, sorry. But it's just like, recognize the fact you fucked up. James Gunn, I understand James Gunn has this persona of like a guy who connects with fans over social media.
Right.
Now's the big point where you need to, like, you know what? I made a wrong decision. We fucked up. There was not as much communication as we would have hoped. Hopefully people will be in theaters for Clayface. That's the best we can hope for right now. Sorry, blah blah. Just like maybe it sounds hollow and PR based, but like, you know, it's better than nothing. Just take the accountability and try to move on. It's like, you know what? We done goofed. We fucked up. That's okay.
Yeah. I look, I don't think anybody's asking for James Gunn to, you know, come out and give us a big groveling apology or, you know, a press release or anything, particularly because a lot of the details that came out in that reporting is still unsubstantiated reporting from, I mean, granted, a trusted outlet, and I'm sure their sources are you know, good, but it's not like it was official information. Like, that's part of the filmmaking process that the audiences, it happens in most movies that we don't even find out about. By the way, vote for Fancast Friday. And nobody's asking James Gunn to show up at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't think nobody should be expecting him. Asking is one thing, but expecting is another. To be at SDCC in a few weeks' time and you know, be like, oh, sorry guys, we really fucked up there, we really messed up. Promise the next time that we'll be, because you can't make that promise, you know, like it's like you're just asking.
Obviously, don't say I promise next time, because then that's gonna that's set up for failure.
And then, like, you know, Peter Safran addressed
let's look to the future.
Yes.
I think let's look to the future is a good generic kind of way to be like, let's move on.
I think it's more what it comes down to is ultimately the proof is going to be in the pudding, literally. Like, if Clayface does well, if Lantern does well, that's going to rebuild confidence. And then you got Mr. Terrific show, which may, you know, be coming soon or not, depending on how far along that development is. Paradise Lost. They have a lot of things in development. There's a lot more going on below the waterline. We just get the, you know, just a little bit of the iceberg. Like, just the top 1%, because, you know, in any studio they'll have a million different ideas circulating, and we only get to hear about the things that ultimately end up getting made. I do hope, though, that, you know, from here they can start a streak, because think about it this way: Creature Commandos was good, but Creature Commandos was never going to go to a big audience. Peacemaker season 2 was good, but Peacemaker season 2 is a streaming show that never had as big an exposure to such a wide audience as Superman did. So for most people, Superman was their first and only touchstone to the new DCU, because most people did not see Peacemaker season 2. Most people did not see Creature Commandos season 2. I know a lot of people did, but when you talk about the number of people that went to see Superman in theaters, it was a fraction of those people who got to see the other two things. So for those folks, the vast majority of the average movie-going audience, the next thing was Supergirl. And so you went from one really good one to one really, you know, mixed bag, and obviously like the PR nightmare that the box office for that movie is creating. Lanterns is going to also be, again, another one where a lot of people will see it, but not as many people as they will go to see a movie, which is why I think Clayface ends up being more and more important. Like, it needs to do well. It needs to feel like a big movie. Despite the fact that it's going to be for a niche audience because it's a horror film. So, and this is the part where I do worry that, you know, too much experimentation this early on is problematic, because now it creates, there's a long road from Supergirl to Man of Tomorrow for people to be like, because if you don't like horror movies, you're not going to go watch Clayface. Like, Liz is not going to watch Clayface. So for Liz, you know, like, and Liz is going to watch Lanterns, but like, I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, I'm not going to watch streaming shows. I don't have HBO Max, but I will watch the movies. So if you had like a bigger character movie, like a Batman movie or Wonder Woman movie coming up after Supergirl, there was a shorter runway for you to turn things around in the minds of the mainstream audience and the average moviegoer. Right now, for most of those people, you have to wait a year until you have the next big thing that they're going to go see, which would be Man of Tomorrow. So I think that's where you need to play a little safer. And I know that it's a hard thing to balance, but I think James Gunn, like, this is, again, growing pains. So, and we've talked about it many times. Let's keep going.
That I think would be a good idea.
Follow Man of Tomorrow with the World's Finest. I know they mentioned they know where the story goes after Man of Tomorrow, but like, and implying that Supergirl is going to be a big part of it. If it is World's Finest, I don't know how Supergirl would be a big part of that, John. So, and this also assumes that after Man of Tomorrow, we're going to get a DCU Batman movie before World's Finest. So, would you like to see that? Like, I know we talked about that was
this
a rumor.
Would be a good way to introduce Batman.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think
without like giving him his own movie, so like turning Brave and the Bold into this. You think?
Yeah. No. Essentially, we get World's Finest, we get this, and then Batman spins off into his own thing, which becomes Brave and the Bold. I think that's like a good way. Kind of like
you're saying do that after. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Essentially what James Gunn kind of did with Supergirl is like introduce her in Superman, even though she didn't have a big role, it was essentially just a cameo. Have her her own movie, then essentially, but obviously Batman would have a substantial role, and then, you know, see what they could do with Batman, have that concrete,
Right.
and then move on to Brave and the Bold before Andy Muschietti ruins him. And we can get a little bit of good DCU Batman before.
Well, remember before we knew what Man of Tomorrow was really about, or like before we knew the title of the movie, people were speculating. We speculated that the next thing he's doing is World's Finest. And I think he kind of like went along with that for a while, but eventually once we find out it was Man of Tomorrow, we were like, oh yeah, no, World's Finest is not it, but maybe eventually we can get there. Hello, Hunter Iggy. How you doing? I wouldn't mind seeing this be one of the upcoming movies after Man of Tomorrow. I still would go with a Batman solo film first. I think that's more important than giving us a Man of Tomorrow, unless they really feel like the Batman franchise with Matt Reeves is doing so well that people are not aching for another solo Batman, and you could just introduce him in more of a team environment. So, yeah, I don't think this is a bad idea. I just don't think it needs to be the next movie after Man of Tomorrow. They could probably wait at because you want to introduce Batman on his own terms in Gotham City before you pair him up with Superman, because then the contrast and the two different character styles and the worlds that they live in, I think that hits harder when one is coming from Gotham City and you've seen that Gotham City, what it looks like, than building that out after. Obviously, Batman v Superman built out a Gotham City and introduced us a Batman in a movie right after a Superman film. So it has been done before to mix results. So it's not impossible, but I'd rather have a Batman movie before a World's Finest movie, personally. So yeah, let's keep going. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Sam Raimi could do a Batman film. I mean,
I feel like this is too reactionary. I don't want to see a Justice League movie anytime soon. Because
you don't think so? I'm kind of okay with this idea. Like, I mean, this isn't him saying that give us a Justice League movie right away. I think they're saying, tell us there's a Justice League movie coming up in a few years' time. Like, announce it. And you can announce it like a few years in advance. I know that's something James Gunn doesn't do, which is why I don't think this is going to be very likely. But like, you gotta give us, I think at this point, because of their approach of, we're not going to do big slate announcements, we're not even going to go to a lot of these big Comic-Con events, it creates a gap where, unless you're following everything he says on Threads, you're not really going to always find out what is going on with, like, what's James Gunn said and, where things are. It's just, I'd give us something, that you're working towards. Like, we're going to do a Justice League movie, it's going to be 2030 or beyond. It also kind of puts the onus on them to be a little bit like, okay, we're going to hold ourselves accountable to getting there by this time. And I realize the reason why they don't do this, but I think for Marvel, they're on the opposite end of the spectrum. I think they do it sometimes to the detriment of the quality of their movies, but I don't think it's entirely a bad thing that you announce a movie that needs to come out by a certain time, and then you are able to execute on that plan, because that shows you're able to believe in your process and how your studios run, that you announce the movie is going to come out in 2030, 2031, which is still, by the way, 4 or 5 years away. And then you're able to get that far with it. I mean, they're saying they have a plan. We keep being told there's an 8 or 10 year plan. I have a feeling that 8 or 10 year plan includes a Justice League film. Why not just say it out loud? I mean, how much of an issue would it be to say it out loud if, it's 8 to 10 years away? Like, people think things might change, but I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm playing devil's advocate. I feel like there's some rationale behind why you could announce it at least. Like, and you don't need to say this is going to be like, coming out in 2-3 years time. You could just say, we have a Justice League plan. James Gunn could literally just go on his Threads and say it. But I'd rather have a more formal announcement. But that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you want to be like, oh, give the people who are freaking out about Supergirl something to hold on to, I suppose. That just devil's advocate, if not anything else.
I guess so, but with the whole Supergirl nonsense, I don't think no matter what they do, it's never going to be the right decision, because people will always find hate in it. Yeah. People will always pick apart. So no matter what they do, it'll never be the right decision, because I think DC, unfortunately, is kind of a tainted brand, and it's at this point, it's just like the only thing you can really do is just go back to the 90s and just make Batman movies and then just stick with that.
I don't think it's that bad. You just need to, again, it was always going to take a long time to dig out of the hole that DCEU dug itself the last few years. Not because necessarily even what Zack Snyder did. It was really the lack of leadership and how wildly different everything was in the last few years of the DCEU, and the quality just kept on dropping. But it just doesn't help that, you know, the second big movie you put out there completely shits the bed at the box office and is like really middlingly reviewed. So I personally think still get that Batman Wonder Woman movie out the door as fast as you can. I'm not saying rush it, but I'm saying you could do a good job while doing it expeditiously. And at the same time, I think you can also give us an idea of like, okay, we are eventually going to get
essentially what it was. Because if it wasn't for Zack Snyder, giving him the keys to the kingdom, they wouldn't have had to course correct 10 trillion times to try and maybe do something.
But I think
with
that was also,
it.
but to me, that ultimately the blame for that lies with the leadership beyond Zack Snyder, because Zack Snyder never signed up to do a cinematic universe, right? Like he signed up to do a Superman movie, and from there they should have never made him like the architect of anything beyond just the Superman stories he was telling. And then I think so that was, again, I ultimately blame the studio, not Zack Snyder. And also Zack Snyder was never in the same position that James Gunn and Peter Safran are. They're co-CEOs of the whole DC Studios. That was never the case. So but anyway, I feel like Wonder Woman, Batman, give us an idea of when we're gonna get a Justice League. It's just people want to know what's next, and I think right now, like, we know Man of Tomorrow is next. We know the Batman, part 2 is next. We know plenty of what's next, but I feel like people are like looking for like, okay, so we already know, but like tell us what's beyond that. Because with Marvel, I think they've created an expectation that people always know what may be coming 3-4 years down the road. Although they've kind of changed that a little bit in the last year and a half, but you still know you're gonna get an X-Men movie and stuff. So again, I think people just want a little bit of certainty. That's all. But hey. Who am I to say anything? We're just on the internet. Hey,
but
Joshua, I'm telling you Batman and Wonder Woman will be Man of Tomorrow. Maybe.
I did have one more thing to say, because I wanted to talk about this yesterday, but unfortunately I didn't get to talk about it. I'm gonna full screen myself here. I just want to kind of get this out. Because it was something I keep noticing about all of this. So this is kind of like, I feel like where we should end like Supergirl talk period outside of like referential box office stuff, because I wanted to say this. We've been documenting all of this from the beginning, as we usually do, as we have been doing, and I just wanted to give Millie Alcock props, because with all of this, when we first started talking about this, like when like images and maybe a trailer, maybe a clip was coming out, we noticed like, Millie Alcock wasn't like the forefront, obviously, because, she's the star, but she's not really well known. So she was kind of, shyer and didn't really say a lot. Plus, in comparison to James Gunn, who loves to hear himself talk, can't really get a word in anyway. So it was like, she was shyer, she was quieter. And I think, and then seeing the stuff we've talked about, seeing the stuff on my own feed, just kind of slowly but surely, like, just gaining that confidence throughout this whole journey, even after, like, Supergirl is not doing well, like, after it was revealed, mixed reviews and box office not being great. Like, as someone who has also dealt with crippling social anxiety for the first 20 years of my life, it was nice to see this person who, because she could have just not really done a big press junket. She could have just kind of, done an interview here and there. She could have just done this, could have just done that. But with how she did it, with how it built over the course of all of this, like, I think this arc for her was really special, not just to me but to a lot of people. And I think, barely getting a word out, being like cripplingly shy, and then like being in more and more interviews, like showcasing her thoughts, showcasing what she thinks of this character, what she liked about this character, and other things about her life, and just kind of building across that to the point where she's like doing all these silly videos of like, kind of showcasing this movie, is just like, it was so nice to see. And it was just a case of that felt really nice to me personally, how she kind of grew. Like, her arc in real life was better than the arc in the movie, in all honesty. Like, seeing that arc of, like, the shyness to becoming this, like, really confident person who knows how to handle herself for the press, for these reporters, getting that experience. And I feel like that's really nice. I feel like that's really special. And it's just a case of, like, just for, because we were talking about this yesterday. Everyone is going to be okay. James Gunn is going to be fine. Peter Safran's going to be fine. Craig Gillespie's going to be fine. Maybe Anna Nogueira is going to be fine. I mean, but outside of Supergirl, is Millie Alcock going to be fine? And that's the biggest and most worrying thing for me, because this is just a case of, like, please, for the love of God, make the right person famous. Because seeing her, like, be passionate about the things she loves, talking about all these various things, not just of, you know, Supergirl, but other things as well. It's just, she seems like such a wonderful person and such a nice person. And that's very, like, far and in between of all the jackasses in fucking Hollywood. We need another Ryan Gosling. We need another Keanu Reeves. We need another Paul Rudd. Like, we need someone who's just, like, genuine and, like, feels like a person. Like, just, like, watching her, she, like, doesn't feel it also helps, like, with the Gen Z thing, who, like, and they don't give a fuck. She's just herself. She's unapologetically herself. And I really wanted to say that. Like, I really wanted to talk about that, because I feel like that's something to talk about, especially with how negative we have to, because we have to be unbiased as much as we can, even though both of us like the movie and Liz liked the movie. We have to showcase this despite all the negativity. But, like, everyone can pretty much mutually agree Millie is definitely not one of those negative things. And I pray to God that she is a star. We need another Brendan Fraser as well. I hope she's a star. Just, again, make the right person famous. The last thing we need is another fucking, like, Mel Gibson or P. Diddy. Like, for the love of God, just give us another Ryan Gosling. Give us another Brendan Fraser. Like, I just want that. Like, and I just want it. I'm not, like, worried about her future or anything. I'm not worried about that. Like, I think she'll be fine. But it's just the rickety nature of, like, and it's just, like, I see all the hate with her, like, people, like, insulting her appearance and insulting her as a person. So that's why I wanted to also talk about that as well. So I just, I wanted to say that, because I feel like, with all the Gunn is fine, Gillespie's fine. Is Millie Alcock fine? She probably will be. But I just wanted to showcase my admiration for someone who is kind of similar in that boat. It's just, I'm not a star of my own film and is pushed into this press junket kind of thing. So I just wanted to talk about that, just kind of end the show on a more positive note about how great I think she is, and how great I think she will be as a future star. So, that's just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I co-sign everything you just said. I was trying to say something to that effect yesterday too, because, yeah, I mean, I think
we were going beyond 3.5 hours, so I'm like, I wanted to get that in, but then I'm like, let's, I just want to.
She deserves all the praise for her performance. She didn't do anything wrong, and
no, she didn't.
Like I think a great point you made was, we have been following this movie. We have been following, Millie Alcock's journey from the first few comments she made about it, and how she's, self-admittedly really shy and really, not somebody who's
like a Pedro Pascal in a way, who also has
like, she's also not in the know. She's not like a Hollywood, like, second, third generation person. She's not a
Nepo baby. She's not experienced. She only has House of the Dragon and Sirens to her name, and like a couple other, like, specific Australian things. So,
and she's incredibly talented. Look, I think James and Peter Safran are giving her all the right opportunities. This didn't work out. It's just, I hope that, it doesn't preclude.
You know what I'm going to do, Dan? I'm going to start writing a movie just for Millie Alcock and see where that goes. We'll see where that goes. You know what? I'm going to start doing it tonight, damn it.
Well, I think, look, ultimately she's talented enough that hopefully she'll be able to, find plenty of opportunities beyond that. The fact that she's still part of the DCU, and she's going to have a part in next year's Man of Tomorrow, and what, stuff beyond that, hopefully that will, anchor her into Hollywood and give her a career that she deserves. And then again, on a personal level, just because you're a movie star doesn't mean, you like to do all the promotional stuff, that you're a very outgoing person. So, and we have seen her like really come into her own in all those interviews, whether it's late night shows, social media stuff, going from where she was a year ago to now.
That was another one where I was like,
it's great
where
to
she's
see
like,
that.
oh yeah, I
It's
only eat rare red meat. I'm like, woman after my own heart. Goddamn. But yeah, that was great. But like, and then seeing her on Jimmy Fallon, where she was like so like bubbly,
she was just like completely herself. And Jimmy does a great job of bringing the personality out of the people. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon's great at that. So
I know Jimmy Fallon, he gets a lot of shit, but like, I think him being positive, it's like a mutual.
I appreciate that about Jimmy Fallon. I'm like, I'm not watching. He just, like, regardless of how you feel about like what he covers and not covers, I enjoy Jimmy Fallon because like his particular brand of comedy works for me on a late night. But yeah, Monique saying, I guess I don't get how if she gave a good performance, which I haven't seen, that a movie flops, it's her fault. Yeah, I think
because
it's not
people
that.
blame
It's
the
more
actors.
just Hollywood always sometimes learns the wrong lessons, but I hope that the right people in the right places in Hollywood realize that Millie Alcock is a really talented actress. I mean, look, it's not like, people didn't already know that. Like, she got hired for House of Dragon, and then Sirens. Like, those are different projects with different creative teams.
Very different, yeah.
And then, of course, with DC Studios. So hopefully, her career will only take off from here. It's just, this will stick for a little bit, but then hopefully she'll be able to like pick up some other opportunities beyond just what she's doing with DC.
Because I don't want like another Taylor Kitsch situation where it's like he was in a series of stinkers and then
deserved
like
better.
It's kind of fucked off.
We've seen so many of those. Like, I think it was him, and I feel like there's at least one or two other guys in the past. Like,
the only reason Sam Worthington still has a career is because he was luckily in Avatar, and
Avatar.
There was that.
Yeah, and now he's doing a few other smaller things, but nothing beyond Avatar that he has done is like all that significant. I mean, I feel like Alice Eve is another example. There's plenty of examples of that out there. Talented actors. On that one. Yeah. But hey, you know what? We got Tier List Tuesday coming up. You guys already have the Fancast Friday poll up in the chat. It's also on the channel. Just go to the community post section. Go vote for your Fancast Friday topic. But coming up on, of course, Tier List Tuesday, we have Supergirl performances ranked across all live action appearances. So will be TV shows and movies. I believe we have 5 of them, just enough to do a tier list. So we will do that. Until then, if you are going to join us on Tier List Tuesday, we will see you there. If you're not going to join us for that, then we will see you tomorrow on another episode of DCU Daily.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go. Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Honka honka!
And remember, fuck David Ellison, Tom King, and Jeff